Well, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I would say happy Monday, but y'all know I don't like Monday. So happy second Sunday. And for those of you here in the United States, happy bank holiday for Labor Day. Um, it's been quite the weekend, actually, quite the week. There's been updates on just about everything. Oh, I'm sure you noticed in the thumbnail that we mentioned Manson again. Yes, we're going to be talking about Marilyn Manson's case again, even though we just gave him his own separate update on Wednesday, I believe. But right after that, they dropped more files, and it was tantalizing. You may have seen on Twitter, a lot going on there. But before we get started on that, we also want to talk about Ezra Miller and Alex Murdaugh. Yes, Alex Murdaugh. That crazy trial. A lot of these are all going to be coming up soon. Um, Looks like Alex Murdaugh is in hot water again. Hot water again. And well, welcome everybody. Thank you to my mods who are here. Thank you to the members who have come. Robski, thank you for the lobster and the otter and the otter for Serpenter. Um, some of you may have been watching a little Twitter channel. You can see I got in some otter trouble lately in another chat. Who could be upset about an ottering? Really? Like otters are joy. They bring happiness in a whole new language and weighing of speaking everywhere. Well, it was really good fun. And thank you, Mrs. Cassandra, for my ottering there in the chat, which I am so happy for. I hope you're having a good day. I hope everyone's having a good day. Oh, for a Monday, it's not so bad. Okay, yeah, I said it. I said it right here on out here on YouTube. Uh, if one of my mods could just let me know that my volume, while I am dealing with, yes, an absolute new setup. This is not the potato, people. No potato. No potato here today. This is a new mic in the new system. Hopefully, we will have no pixelation. We will have clear sound without actually blowing anybody's eardrums out. Hey, Dick Dawson, how you doing? There you go. I'd like to thank Dick Dawson in the Shields for helping with the assistance here on getting this great sound out here without pixelation for this show. So thank you very much. And to all of those in the back who helped me as I struggled with the concept of new technology. Thank you for assisting me in not getting too much gray hair. Actually, no gray hair. You were all wonderful. You know who you were, and I appreciate you all immensely. And for those of you who watch and actually follow and have tolerated the last couple of weeks with pixelation and problems with audio, I thank you for hanging in there. Hopefully, as we get better, you'll enjoy it more. I'll enjoy it more. I know. And we are going to actually just move forward. Yeah, I hear you, Dick. And hey, Facty, thanks for coming. Yeah. All right. So, on that, let me get to our first update. Now, y'all may be this face may confuse you because like he doesn't look exactly the same, does he? But this is Alex Murdaugh in court recently. Yes, very recently. Does that look like a man who's worried? It doesn't to me. Let me tell you. His lawyer's great, by the way. His lawyer is absolutely fantastic. They are working on a new angle right now that I want to talk to you about first. Before we talk about new charges, yeah, I said new charges. Like that man doesn't have enough already on his indictment. Last time we spoke, wasn't it up to 50 or something like that? Like, and it was still going. The shenanigans in this Alex Murdaugh case are off the chart. Like I can't even keep up with all the people that want a piece of Alex Murdaugh. I mean, there's just too many. There's just too many. Okay. But basically, he definitely has some issues. And one of them, I think they better get somebody to start examining Alex Murdaugh because look at that face. That does not look like the face of a man who has anything to worry about. He's up on murder, indictments for fraud, lost his legal license. He's been accused of just about everything you can think of under the sun lately. And there he is, like, grinning like the Cheshire cat. What the heck is that about? But I thought you would appreciate the picture as much as I did. You know, it really is kind of crazy. But anyway, in a hearing in the double murder trial of this prominent ex Carolina attorney accused of killing his wife and son, it actually turned into a shouting match last Monday as both sides were squabbling over what the prosecution calls $1 million evidence. Okay. The argument was just the latest twist and shenanigans in the Alex Murdaugh case. Okay. This once powerful legal scion, yeah, they call him a scion. I don't agree. Also stands accused of stealing more than $8 million from his own clients and co-running a $2 million money laundering drug ring. You remember that charge? The other co-conspirator, Smith, and trying to arrange his own death. Remember when Smith shot him in the head? Okay. So his surviving son could collect a $10 million life insurance policy. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Murdaugh's defense team on Monday got Judge Clifton Newman to order prosecutors to turn over evidence they've been trying to keep secret. South Carolina newspaper has since reported that Newman also issued, which is the Judge Clifton Newman, issued a protective order barring much of the materials from any public dissemination, which means as much as I dug, I couldn't find it. Sorry, but this is all I know about it. It's $1 million evidence, okay? And it's supposed to cause and blow everything up and be dangerous for anybody to know about, okay? Barring much of the materials from public dissemination, the prosecutor Creighton Waters made the strange claim that some of the evidence against Murdaugh is worth over $1 million to an unscrupulous hand. Mm-hmm. Well, defense attorney Dick Harpootlian, I believe I said that right. He's very famous in South Carolina. He is one of the top attorneys in that area. I mean, his CV went around my room 4 times. I couldn't even keep up with it. This guy's connected, but so was the Murdaugh family. So I didn't really expect anything less. But who is also sitting the South Carolina state senator? Yes, Harpootlian had to actually take time off, from campaigning and doing all this other stuff to actually take care of this trial. And he had actually asked for additional time and leniency in some cases because of it. Okay. He wants things done fast, fast, fast. Okay. Well, he's accusing the prosecutors of attempting to try his client in secret, like behind doors. Like he's saying, if you don't release the evidence, if you don't give us what you have, that's unfair. And in a way, not a fan here of Murdaugh or of Harpootlians. I apologize. This is a name that's going to get stuck. Okay. Let's just call him defense attorney. Defense attorney definitely is hitting hard. Okay. And hitting hard on them on any angle he can. Okay. On this trial, he's trying to say that also, they're still investigating the murder and they have no business putting him on trial yet because they're still investigating. Okay. Right. That's what he says. Quote unquote, objection, Your Honor. I object to the state trying to hijack this proceeding. He shouted over Waters, who is the prosecutor, Your Honor, I am not done. If I could be heard and not interrupted by the state as they continue to hijack this case, trying to try this case behind the scenes. He goes, every time we turn around, these prosecutors are trying to hide something. He's yelling at the judge in the court. This was actually, there's actually clips of this on CBS, on Law and Crime. I didn't really want the DCM, so I'm not going to play you the clips, but they're everywhere. This defense attorney went down. He went hard. He said, no, no, no. This is not going to be happening. You can't hide evidence behind us. I don't care what the evidence is. I don't care that it's going to cause trouble to anybody else. You need to actually let us know. Let us know. Okay. Mrs. Cassandra, I see your name change. You're trying to derail me. I think it's hysterical, but still, stop. Okay. Murdaugh, who is 54, by the way, is accused of using a rifle and a shotgun to kill his wife, Maggie, and their 22-year-old son, Paul. Okay. Their bodies were found last June near a dog kennel at their home in Islington, a small town with only about 70 residents. I mean, really small. okay, in the central part of the state. Alex is a fourth generation lawyer from a powerful Southern legal family. Like we talked about this, always Createful helped us fill in some of the information here. They are connected. They go way back in the Senate, in prosecution, in just general lawyering all over. They are politically connected, legally connected, you know, everything. Okay. Investigators said they found blood spatter on Murdaugh's clothing, and this is one of the things that they are actually alluding as physical evidence, and that a video of him places him near the scene of the crime, right near this kennel area on their property. Okay. A date has not yet been set for this double murder trial, but it's expected to be in January. However, there's still no information being given to us about what this super secret evidence of over millions of dollars is. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that frustrates the heck out of me. They're going to, all right, they released it to the media. It's everywhere. There's clips of the guy yelling about it in court, okay? The prosecution's saying, no, not us. And yet nothing's being released. Nothing's out there. I'm going through the filings. It's all tied up, really super secret. Can't even find any of it, but we're going to keep looking, okay? But that's not all for Murdaugh. Like, I'm not done. Nope, not done. As if that's not enough, okay? If that's not enough, there caused shenanigans in the courtroom, okay, at one of the hearings, okay? This disbarred South Carolina attorney, Mr. Murdaugh, who's been charged with killing his wife and son, is also indicted on another round of financial crimes. Yup, can't keep his hand out of the cookie jar. Not this guy. Well, this time's prosecutors say that Alex Murdaugh stole over $295,000 from his brother and the law firm founded by his prominent legal family a century ago. Yup, he's still doing it. And this time, it's really close to home. In the practice he was in. Like, that's it. That's it. Murdaugh, 54, faces 9 additional charges now: 4 counts of obtaining property under false pretenses, 3 counts of money laundering, and 2 counts of computer crimes, in indictments handed up to the state grand jury on Tuesday of last week, which were actually added to the filings on Friday. Murdaugh is likely to stand trial in January, okay, as was reported by another article, for this actual murder of the shootings that were in 2021, okay? But nothing about these other charges yet. Now, a lot of the charges that are being added on, they're not being done by the same prosecution. They're just additional charges. That could be negotiated. They could actually be settled out of court, depending on the parties that are involved. They are all illegal, so the state is involved, but they can actually use them to, put forth different kinds of plea agreements for time and settlement, and actually for the funds. What they really want to do is get all the funds that were misappropriated back to the people that they belong to, especially because it was a legal firm, and some of that money may belong to actually clients from cases and stuff and may have to be paid out. Anyway, it's a mess. Now, how many charges do you think we're up to on him? In all, Murdaugh's facing 90. Yep, I didn't misspeak. Nope. Mike is clear as hell, right? Clear as day. 90 charges against Alex Murdaugh. Hot mess for sure there, Grace Case. No, it's Mrs. Cassandra acting like Grace Case. You guys, would you stop with the names? Grace, stop trying to derail me, okay? Just knock it off with that stuff, okay? I'm not going to let it happen. I'm in too good a mood, even for a damn Monday. There you go. All right. So anyway, prosecutors are saying that he stole at least $8.5 million from settlements on others that he got for a dozen poor clients in injury or wrongful death cases. Now, that's sad, because here you go. Here are actual people that had to go to court to get justice for something that was wrongfully done for them. Persons in their family had wrongful deaths, okay? Something was done to their families, or they had massive injuries. They need this money. And Alex ran off with it. And now he's in jail. And a lot of it based on, remember our other reporting, Alex had a terrible substance abuse problem. This is why he tried to get away with stuff with that $10 million and things. And he wasn't thinking very clearly. And he had his partner in the drug ring kind of thing shoot him in the head. Remember that story? He didn't do a good job either. It goes to say, don't ever ask your drug partner to do anything that requires any skill to help you out of anything. It usually doesn't go very well. And it didn't for Alex, because 90 charges on Alex Murdaugh. So on that, I think I'm going to get rid of Alex here. Okay. I'm tired of looking at that head. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but he's not well. He is not a well person. Okay. I do think that this case is going to be lit. I do hope that this trial is live. If this trial is live, I'm there. If we get a feed, we're going to cover this one live. Because can you imagine if all this is going on now behind the scenes, what that live trial is actually going to be like? I mean, that's going to be lit. That's going to be entertaining. That's definitely going to be something. I wonder, Jujubee, that is a Google question. That would be that might be something. We'll have to Google that one up. I wonder what. Let me see if I can grab this with the new non-potato. Look how nice that worked. I wonder what the most indictments anyone has ever had is. I do too now. I do too. I really, you know what? Yep, giving it a good googs for me there, Jujubee. Thank you. And let's let the chat know. Okay. So on that, I am going to actually share another with you. We got more. Before we get to the Manson part, which is a nice little legal thing, I just want to give you a brief update on our friend, the other M in the story here today, Ezra Miller. Okay. Now, Ezra, I don't really have much of an actual legal or crime update on Ezra, but some interesting things did come through. There's been some movement here. Like, we know Ezra Miller's been a hot mess for 2 years. Okay. Hot mess Miller. Absolutely. Ezra is definitely. And the reason I'm going to talk about it is because you know what? Many of you ask me regularly what's going on with Ezra, because he does hit the papers. There's usually not a lot of information. He is still going up on charges for thievery, for around his ranch, for breaking into some abandoned places on alcohol. He still does have charges for his arrest in was in March of this year, where in Hilo, Hawaii, he was charged with disorderly conduct and harassment after an incident at I believe it was a karaoke bar, where Miller allegedly got agitated at a couple or a few people who were singing Lady Gaga, the song Shallow that they sing together. He was arrested for causing some mess up at there. Apparently he got up and threw a chair at somebody and caused injury to her face or her head, her general area, up there near her forehead. Yeah. I got to tell you, he can't stay out of trouble, and I kind of feel for him. He isn't. They are a person amongst themselves. Like, they stand out. They got their own thing going on. He's into a lot of things in his heritage and with the tribe, with Indians in general, and just with rights for freedom and to be able to do whatever you want. He runs a rancho in, I want to say, Vermont, that has actually had some issues, about who's coming and going and all there. Remember, there was like several different things going on. He actually has a restraining order on him from he for the they just get this so all over here. Warner Brothers is like all over this stuff. They're the ones who put out the most information this week on him. Even before the arrest in March of 2022, he had made headlines in 2020 after a video surfaced of him choking a woman in another bar in Iceland where he was filming. He was arrested twice in Hawaii. And I think actually that may have been dismissed at this point. The first one. The second one is still there. But in June also of this year, he was issued a temporary order of protection from the Standing Rock Sua's Tribal Court, which is a separate court the nation, the Sioux Nation. Okay, the protection order was on behalf of an 18-year-old Dakota Iron Eyes, who's been with him for quite a while, since she was much younger. Her parents alleged that the actor used violence, fear, paranoia, and drugs, among other tactics, to manipulate this girl since she was 14 or 15. And Miller faced another allegation that same month from another mother with her 12-year-old daughter, claiming that Miller threatened them and acted inappropriately towards the child. Now, a legal court in the United States actually issued a restraining order on him, a temporary protection order on with the 12-year-old and the parents, and that's still waiting on review. And actually, the Standing Rock Sioux Tribal Court has issued the protective order against Ezra Miller on the other. Although last known, Dakota is still with him because she's legal age. Okay, and it's kind of odd, as we reported previously in our other videos on Ezra Miller, that we don't understand why now those parents are making a big deal. They didn't go through actual regular court system to get this restraining order. I don't think they could have, since they actually gave him permission since Dakota's been like 14 years old to travel with him without them, to actually go to places and everything with them. And it wasn't until she turned 18 that they started squawking. And it may be just because she can do stuff without their permission now, and there's no tit for tat, or shall I say quid quo, pro. There's no they don't have access to the life that Ezra Miller has. Okay, it could have been a little bit like that. I did think that was a little shady on their part. I don't think anything new has changed. But there is that. But basically, recently he's been in the news. Okay. He uses the pronouns they and them, and I am trying very hard to keep on with that. I want to be respectful. Okay. But basically, Warner Brothers has him in the news right now, going over why they kept him on the film. They've been getting a lot of flack about the Flash. I mean, if you're not familiar, Ezra Miller is the Flash, okay, in the upcoming movie that's coming out, and it's been, it's still in production. 3 days ago, the director of that movie actually did an article and a big interview about Ezra Miller, saying that his antics have gone beyond the filming and everything. That he was, obviously they were upset about him being charged in Vermont for the burglary, and that state was, the state is still investigating and all of this. But that they also, say that on the set, they really didn't see too much, because when he gets to the set, he's contrite. He's apologetic for all of his problems that are coming. I mean, all the negative news surrounding Miller has come out. The star has apologized for their behavior and stated that they begun mental health treatment. He wanted it known out there. I don't know. Ezra's not the one out there saying this, so I feel for him that the studio is actually coming out and saying he's having treatment and stuff. I mean, that was something that he owns that news. Like, he should have been able to come out and say that. I don't really feel comfortable that they're out there pushing this, but it's in articles everywhere. I found at least 20 articles. Okay. Here's a quote from Heron. Okay, the film has completely finished and wrapped. If the film had been completely finished and wrapped, it might have been different, especially if we were shooting, if there had been bad behavior during that. But this all happened after the film was not only filmed, but edited and mixed and done. I also felt like everybody shot all those things in good faith. Nothing bad happened during our filming, and the film is the film. they don't want the Flash, the film, actually to have all this negative press because of Ezra, because they say while he was filming, while he was there, nothing really happened. He says, I'm not condoning anything that they, Ezra Miller, have done wrong. I think it doesn't matter how talented someone is. If they've done anything wrong, they have to face it. I also think that clearly this is not just a young star acting out, that this is much more serious. This seems like something that needs a serious intervention, which I hope has happened. Okay. This is the director of the film he was just in speaking out. Okay. Um, Many of us that are following on this and his antics, their antics do pull into question, whether or not Ezra is got something going on. He's got a lot of, he doesn't seem to be able to keep himself out of trouble lately. All right. But here is a huge studio coming out, and instead of actually supporting him, they're kind of throwing some shade his way, about his mental status, about what's going on, and trying to capitalize it to promote their film. And I wanted to mention that because, like, I really, that didn't sit well with me. For everything that Ezra Miller gives me in regards to content, for all his legal shenanigans going on, and that's really interesting. I really don't think they should be using his mental health as something to promote out here as far as public relations for their film. I think this was a bad move. It left a bad taste in my mouth. And I'm on Ezra's side for this if he decides to do anything about it, which is the only reason I'm mentioning this, is because to me, this looks like something that's going to come up later. So I'm putting it out here now on YouTube because I think this, and especially these articles that just came out from Warner Brothers, from the director and people involved with the film, mentioning all of his shenanigans and mentioning again his mental health status. I'm wondering if he's going to be able to do anything about that. I really would be uncomfortable if I was Ezra Miller with the way that they are portraying him right now, especially since he has not been found guilty of anything that he's been charged with yet. None of it. Okay, he did settle on one of the harassment things. He paid a fine for disorderly conduct. Okay, yes, he did that. There's no reason for an article like this. Not as far as I can see, but they're gonna do what they're gonna do. But on this side, in this case, they may be a little weird. Let's use the word weird. They may have a different way of doing things. Okay. They may not speak the same language we do in regards to how they express themselves and what's going on. And they may also have a tendency towards a little bit solving their problems with drugs, alcohol, or even violent outbursts. Okay. But legally, they haven't actually been actually found guilty of anything yet, except for the fine they paid for disorderly conduct so far. So we got to be a little bit careful here. Yeah, there's restraining orders. Okay. And the one restraining order is not for anything that he did physically to that 12-year-old. It was how he talked. Let's be clear. It was the way he presented himself and how he was speaking. And it made them uncomfortable. And they just thought it best that they keep the two of them apart. I don't blame the parents for doing that. The parents have their right. But when it comes down to the legality of it, it's not really a lot that he was guilty of there. He made them uncomfortable with his presence. Okay. They made them uncomfortable with their presence. That's what he's guilty of there. The other one, the 18-year-old, um, it's not uncommon that drinking is one thing, and even drugs in this lifestyle that they have known about this since that girl was 14 or 15 years old. I don't understand the issues now, except for that maybe there may be a separation between the young woman, Dakota Iron Eyes, and her parents, and maybe this is their way of retaliating back to try to get her back into the fold. Okay. Or something like that. But I think that's a little unfair too, to give them permission to have this relationship since she's 15 years old, and then all of a sudden at 18 say it's verboten. Like, now she's legal. Why is it forbidden now? You didn't have a problem with it before. To me, that looks a little bit sketchy. But then again, I digress. So there we go. Any questions we have on Ezra before I take this one off? Yeah. That's a good point, Sean. After Amber, I'm guessing the brass is worried. Uh, you know what? They're still supporting Amber though, which I don't understand. There's a lot there. That's actually legal guilty there. She lost her case. Okay. There's a lot of, there's a big difference in being accused of something and having people talk about it and actually being a settled court case and talking about it. I mean, those two, that's apples and oranges, not apples and apples, right? So how is it that Warner Brothers does this? They have such a blind, personal opinion here. They got a blind eye when it comes, like they got a blind spot when it comes to Amber Heard. They are doubling down. They are doubling down. I know. Do you not like his coat? I love his coat. A gerbil is set free from Ezra's coat for every like. Thanks, Robsky. Way to go. But yeah, hit that like if you haven't, people. It does help us get through the algorithm, and we could use the help getting out there. Okay. Yep. Grace, you're cracking me up with you. How many times are you guys going to change your names? This is insane. It's easier to cancel than to understand. Yet now we understand Amber Heard. It's good to cancel. Yeah, I would say cancel culture is really trying to work a number on her, but she's also trying to work a huge number on Johnny Depp still to this day, you know. The Turtle Move says Warner Brothers have canceled movies with the fuss over Ezra and Amber. It's not looking good in movie land. They have already canceled several other movies. Like they stopped producing Batgirl and a couple of other things, And I'm not sure. I'm not sure why they doubled down on this kind of stuff. It's almost as if they go to the premise that any publicity is good publicity. Like all publicity is good. Like, maybe it's free. Maybe it's free, publicity that's got their hits going, it could definitely be something along that line. Hey Matt, thanks for coming. Good to see you. All right. So on that, let us all right. I got rid of Robsky. I'm sending him off. He can go return the coat to Huggy Bear. I remember Huggy Bear. I think that was some coat. Oh my gosh. I've seen this on we have a channel that plays old sitcoms and dramas and series here in America, and I can't remember the name of that one that had Huggy Bear on it. Was it Starsky? No, it wasn't them. It was who was it? Oh my gosh. You help me out, Robsky. Oh, well, anyway, it was like a cop drama type thing or detectives or something like that. All right, ready? We're going to do the big one now. Back. Guess we've got more. Yep, it was Starsky and Hutch. Okay, thanks. Listen, now we're going to have to talk about Marilyn Manson, Brian Warner's cases, I should say, in the plural, because it isn't just one. There are multiple cases with Brian Warner still active. We know that Ashley Waters, his ex assistant, that case was dismissed. Okay. We still have the Jane Doe case, a civil case. Okay. We still have Esme Bianco against Brian Warner, aka Marilyn Manson, and we still currently have Ashley Graham Smithline's case against Brian Warner. Okay. Then we also have Brian Warner, aka Marilyn Manson's case against Evan Rachel Woods and Ilma Gore. Okay, which is out there. And now it's going to get a little convoluted here. So I hope that you will follow me. But here's the premise right now. The reason what I'm going to read to you and show you in the court filings is important is for two reasons. Okay. One, the attorneys who are involved. Howard King, Manson's attorney. Okay. And I'm going to call him Manson because that's the name you all know him by, but we all know everything's filed under Brian Warner also, because there's the man who is suing, and then there is the creative character, the creative persona that he uses, Marilyn Manson. Okay. Well, his attorney is Howard King. Okay. And I am currently quite impressed with the legalese of Howard King. He writes a mean brief. And when I mean mean. Like he goes for it. He goes for it. Yeah. If there's a precedent he can throw at you, he's hitting. He's hitting you with it, and he's hitting you hard and where it hurts. Okay. Howard King has a lot to be complaining about right now because it appears an opposing attorney for the other side, J. Ellwanger, to be sure, from Ellwanger Law. There's some stuff going on. J. Ellwanger is actually listed as Ashley Graham Smithline's attorney and Esme Bianco's attorney. And as I had previously disclosed to you, they also have the same judge in those two cases. So we got the same we have the same plaintiff's attorneys and we have the same judge. And it kind of made sense to me. And I had explained this to you guys before because of some of the angles that they're both using. A lot of it was very similar. They're both claiming the same types of abuse, the same types of relationship, the same situation that happened. They're both claiming that he violated immigration statuses by bringing them from a foreign country under the false pretenses of work, through either working within his record company or within his personal business company about how he does things, connects things as far as scheduling and coordinating and things like that, and or working background vocals or appearances, appearing in actual videos or movies that he was going to be putting out, or on the records. I mean, there were many different scenarios laid out that they would be doing, and some of it happened. In the case of Esme Bianco, she says it never happened. They never produced any record, but this, that, the other thing. In the case of Ashley Smithline, she's actually claiming that there was violations in the actual acts in California that protect the environment that you work in, stating that there was actual inequality. She wasn't fairly treated. She wasn't paid. That she was underpaid, underserved, treated harshly, violations of all the employment acts in California is part of her lawsuit also. But the judge thought that there was enough similarity here that both cases would be served properly if they were put together, that it would be better for both the plaintiffs and the defense if they only had to bring things up once. He would actually know about it. They didn't have to argue things over and over again in both cases back and forth that were going to be the same issues that were going to be addressed. So in a way, that kind of helps keep the costs down for the court, and in a way, if you don't have to do a motion 2, 3, 4 times, you still have to do the motion, but the precedent is already set. It can save money on both the plaintiff and the defense's side also. So that kind of all made sense. But it does put Howard King and J. Ellwanger at odds with each other in more than one case, okay? And it does actually affect, when something happens in one case, it could actually affect the other case. And here we're going to show how that happens. Okay. Okay. Let me just get rid of that. And which is this? You know what? Legal documents all look the same, and I want to make sure I got the right one up here for you. So here you go. All right. The first thing that happened was J. Ellwanger, okay, on the 30th. I mean, not on the 30th, on the 29th, actually went forward and asked in the Esme Bianco case for them to squash the subpoena for Ashley Morgan Smithline's deposition. Ashley Morgan Smithline has not appeared for the deposition in the Esme Bianco case like several times, okay, repeatedly. And J. Ellwanger, being the actual attorney for both of them, has claimed that it's been scheduling things, it's been this, it's been that. Recently he said that she was here in the United States, but she was getting some kind of emergency psychiatric treatment. Okay. And he is trying to actually get this squashed. Now, he also, remember recently we reported that he actually commissioned on the same day that he did this squash of this subpoena. He actually asked in his other case, where he is actually the plaintiff attorney for Ashley Smithline, he actually asked that judge to release him from that case, that he wanted to step away. He was dropping out of that case completely based on a conflict between him and Ashley and their agreement, okay, for either non-retainer or not providing documents or whatever it was. He didn't really spell it out too much. He kind of listed everything without actually listing anything. That he needed to step away from this case. He wanted to be recused. He wanted to leave. And in the same day, he files in the other case to squash the modify it, give her more time, and using the reason that he's leaving that case to give Ashley Smithline 90 more days to appear for this deposition in the case that he's still keeping with Esme Bianco. Now that just sounds like a little bit of a manipulation. When you've got like both cases going on, I understand he's going to have to do some kind of legal maneuvering here to protect both interests. But it came up to play that he may not actually be protecting both interests, because Ashley Smithline has been all over the place lately. All over the place. And you see, this just went through on the 29th, okay? He just asked them. He said that he conferred multiple times via email with the counsel for the defendants, meaning Howard King, the lead counsel for the defendants, indicated that he actually opposed this motion and requested that the emails containing his conference be filed as an attachment to this motion. And those communications were filed concurrently with this motion as Exhibit B. Now, you'll remember I showed you all of those. There was a bit of tit for tat going back and forth with the two of them. Okay. And granted, there should have been, there really should have been, because if I was Howard King, I would definitely be a little bit upset that this is going on. This is definitely going to delay things. This is definitely going to delay things. Going to delay things, not in the favor of Brian Warren, because he is actually entitled to have things go expediently and on time. There are really grave accusations against him. These are illegal acts that they're talking about that he may have violated them for. This is really damaging to his reputation. You all see him out there getting Me Too to death right now because, he must have done it. Like it's like they don't even have to prove anything. It hasn't even gone to court yet. And everybody is just like, of course, based on the accusations, of course he did it, and I don't agree with that, because more and more is coming up, and the more and more the cases are falling apart, and the cases are falling apart because it looks like they were all knitted together on purpose. I'll be honest. It is starting to look that way. And this is just another piece of that puzzle. When you have an attorney who is actually linked with the other attorney, okay, and is dropping one case so that they do not actually appear in the other case, because it kind of looks like a delay tactic here. What is it that Ashley has to say that they don't want recorded at this time? And that is why Howard King is going and filing in the Esme Bianco case this motion to oppose that they modify the subpoena. He wants her to testify. And you know why? Because it's rumored in many articles and videos that we have seen recently that Ashley Smithline has gone to Howard King and Manson, has gone to the Manson camp, to their camp, and said that, no, I'm going to give you evidence that Howard King wasn't even my attorney. I mean, not Howard King, but Ellwanger was not my attorney when all this happened, because I literally fired him in April. Yep. He's making motions to the court. He's maneuvering back and forth between two cases. And Ashley Smithline is claiming that they actually separated in April, and that he was speaking for her in May, June, July, and August about this deposition and had no right. He was telling them he had information to give them, that he had this, that, and the other thing. He was talking about her being here in the United States, and she claims, no, I wasn't. I was not in the United States, and I never said I was going to be there in the United States for that deposition. She's claiming, no, I did not get emergency psychiatric care in the United States, and that is not the reason why I didn't show up for this deposition. Okay. And she's giving them all of the documentation to prove it. Okay. Along with this filing, Howard King submitted all of the emails between Ellwanger and Ashley Smith Klein in regards to her being unhappy with him and with letting him go from his services. And it proved it. They also, which I'm not going to show, she submitted many DMs between other people and herself, kind of alluded to the fact that all of this is kind of tying together and things are actually playing off. But at this point, I'm going to read to you a little bit of this actual filing by Howard King, because he brings up some really good points about what Ellwanger is doing here. Okay. Um, when they say non-party, they mean non-party to this case. Remember, they're filing this in the Esme Bianco case, not in Ashley Smithline's case. They're speaking about Ashley Smithline. Okay, non-party Ashley Morgan Smithline's untimely motion to modify the deposition subpoena served on her should be denied because the subpoena does not impose an undue burden, and her purported counsel that filed the motion, J. Ellwanger, who remains counsel for plaintiff Esme Bianco, has apparently misrepresented Miss Smithline's wishes and the reasons she could not timely comply with the subpoena. Far from having any merit, the motion is a clear attempt by Mr. Ellwanger to buy himself time in light of the serious ethical questions arising from his withdrawal from representing Miss Smithline and his continued representation of plaintiff Bianco in this action, in which Miss Smithline is a key witness. Miss Smithline's deposition was originally scheduled with mutual agreement of counsel for August 17th, with the witness appearing by Zoom from England. But in the afternoon on the 16th, Mr. Ellwanger urgently requested that defendants agree to postpone it because he said Miss Smithline could not attend and was on a plane to Los Angeles to receive emergency psychiatric treatment. Relying on Mr. Ellwanger's presentation, defendants agreed to continue the deposition to the mutually agreed date of August 30th, contingent on Mr. Ellwanger's promise and agreement to provide a complete production of documents requested in the subpoena by the end of the day on August 16th, which documents he said were already in his possession and ready for production, and to later provide a written note from Miss Smithline's treating professional that she was unable to appear on August 17th. Okay, they're very clear about what they wanted and what happened. Okay, Mr. Ellwanger immediately broke his promises by producing only 4 redacted text messages on August 16th, which no person could reasonably believe was a complete production because these documents explicitly refer to other responsive communications that were not produced. Defendants informed Mr. Ellwanger of this, but he has made no effort to supplement the production. Mr. Ellwanger also never produced a medical note to substantiate his representation that Miss Smithline was unable to attend her deposition on August 17th. Instead, he has since filed a motion to withdraw as Miss Smithline's counsel in her separate case against defendants. And the day before Miss Smithline's rescheduled deposition in this case, he filed the present motion to modify the deposition subpoena to provide Miss Smithline 90 days to secure representation by new counsel. But what's worse, after Mr. Ellwanger filed these motions, Ms. Smithline unilaterally emailed defendants' counsel communications between her and Mr. Ellwanger, which she has also distributed to third parties online, showing not only that she was never coming to Los Angeles for emergency medical treatment or undergoing treatment elsewhere, but also that she fired Mr. Ellwanger months earlier in April of 2022. Miss Smithline added that for a Me Too lawyer, Mr. Ellwanger doesn't listen to the word no. Now, this is why I'm bowing to Howard King. There was no need for that line in there. There is no need for that line in there. But damn, Howard, go ahead and use it if she said it, because that's funny. Okay. That is just funny. And I got to give it to a lawyer who actually entertains me. What his legal prowess and the one-liners against the other side as he goes. Okay. All right. In response, defendant's counsel informed Ms. Smithline, copying Mr. Ellwanger, that as long as J. Ellwanger is your counsel of record, I am not permitted to communicate with you absent his consent. And Ms. Smithline responded, stating unequivocally, with Mr. Ellwanger still copied, that she had fired him and he is lying. Thus, contrary to Mr. Ellwanger's arguments in the motion that Ms. Smithline will be prejudiced absent a 90-day continuance to find new counsel, Ms. Smithline is conducting herself as if she wishes to proceed on her own, which is not uncommon with third-party subpoenas. There is no evidence she wishes to retain new counsel or postpone the deposition, nor is there evidence to justify Mr. Ellwanger's delay in waiting until August 29th, the day before the rescheduled deposition, to file the motion based solely on his withdrawal, given Miss Smithline's repeated statements that she fired him earlier. Even taking Mr. Ellwanger's word that Miss Smithline assented to his termination on August 19th, the motion is still untimely. He cannot justify waiting more than a week after Miss Smithline's reconfirmed his termination as her counsel, blithely ignoring the extensive preparation defendant's counsel had to undertake and the many requests for Mr. Ellwanger to confirm whether Miss Smithline was appearing for the rescheduled deposition. The motion should be denied, and Miss Smithline's deposition should be ordered to proceed forthwith. Okay. Then he goes into the background of why they need the deposition, which is all the background on regards to who's accusing him and what, the subpoenas that were done, the notice that wasn't given, the timeliness of it. Okay. He just goes into great detail about all the communications that were given to him by Ashley Smithline and the ones that he had also with the attorney Ellwanger, and just documents it all for the court, just in a lovely 14-page brief with an appendage of all of the emails and all of the DMs back and forth. So even though the brief is only 14 pages, I think it ended up to be quite a number, quite larger than that. I think like 56 or something like that pages, but there was a lot there. Okay. All right. They're just accusing J. Ellwanger, the attorney, of shenanigans. Shenanigans. This is shenanigans. Definitely. This could be on my other show, right? I mean, this is definitely absolutely too much. Okay. All right. In screenshots of messages that she shared, Miss Smithline told Mr. Ellwanger on August 22nd, a week earlier and 5 days after the original deposition, that she could not get a letter from her psychiatrist validating Mr. Ellwanger's excuse because I've been in London since March, not under care of a therapist. She is actually telling him, stop lying, stop. I wasn't in LA for an emergency health session. Stop lying. This is very damaging, very damaging. This is a lawyer going against the client. This is the client saying, stop telling people what you're telling you. You're speaking for me. You're not even telling them the truth. I know the truth, and you just can't do this. You don't even work for me. No wonder he's fired. And why would Esme Bianco still have him on? I don't know if any of this is true. I mean, there's two things that could be going on here. Okay. Ashley Smithline could be absolutely, completely off her rocker and delusional, and none of this actually happened. Although all of the documentation back and forth from them would kind of indicate that's got to be go off the table because it happened. Okay. Because it happened. Because they have documentation through the emails and the DMs that this was going on back and forth. Okay. The other thing could be that Mr. Ellwanger is just like, he was misinterpreting what his client clearly was saying. Like, nope, I'm not coming. I am in London. I've been there the whole time. Stop lying about where I am. Stop lying about what I'm doing. Okay. But again, Howard King says, I know you told me that you were no longer represented by counsel, but as long as J. Ellwanger is your counsel of record, I'm not permitted to communicate with you absent his consent. Now, could that be that then Ashley Smithline actually put her foot down and said, you better file a motion that you're out because I have kicked you out, Anyway, non-parties may be commanded by subpoena to attend and testify and produce designated documents, electronically stored information, or tangible things in that person's possession, custody, or control. Court is authorized to hold in contempt a person who, having been served, fails without adequate excuse to obey the subpoena or any order related to it. Okay. And I understand that Rule 45 permits a court to squash or modify a subpoena on a timely motion where the subpoena subjects a person to an undue burden. However, in this case, there is no undue burden because Ashley is wanting to go forward. Ashley is literally wanting to go forward, and it's her attorney that is throwing the wrench in here and making these things possible. Okay. They are claiming that this isn't a first offense. It's happened 3 times. And that is why we shouldn't allow them to do it again. This is, actually delaying it 3 times is actually unfair. Unfair to the defendant. That is unfair to Brian Warner. Those delays are getting excessive. You just don't get to yank them around like that. Okay. The motion fails to establish undue burden. They are clearly stating, Howard King is clearly stating that Ellwanger's withdrawal does not put an undue burden on Esme Bianco or on Ashley Smithline, nor does it on Brian Warner, because Brian Warner and Ashley Smithline want this deposition to happen as soon as possible. Okay. Why then would the opposite attorney not? Okay. What are they afraid of that Ashley's going to say in that testimony? We could be looking at the closing of both of these cases. I mean, this looks absolutely like we are definitely going to, we're going to see a problem here. In his closing argument, Howard King clearly states, to the contrary, Ms. Smithline has attempted on multiple occasions to contact counsel for Warner herself. She has called, left voicemails, sent emails, all apparently based on her belief that she already terminated her relationship with Mr. Ellwanger, despite cautionary warnings that counsel could not speak to her if she was represented by counsel. She continued to contact Mr. Warner's counsel, each time stating unequivocally that she had fired Mr. Ellwanger and disapproved of his representation. There is simply no evidence that Ms. Smithline wishes to proceed without litigation only if she obtains new counsel, let alone evidence that she will be prejudiced if she does not. Nor does the motion offer any evidence that Ms. Smithline, in fact, intends to retain new counsel, where the 90-day continuance granted. Her conduct belies this suggestion, offered only by Mr. Ellwanger, and thus the request is nothing more than a tactic to delay. For the foregoing reasons, the motion to modify the subpoena should be denied. And I think it will. Okay? I think that it will. Oh, but look at that. I did not think that I was going to be able to get that done in that period of time, but oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm hoping the new mic is actually making my voice even more soothing. Although I don't want you to fall asleep during legal crime. This is exciting stuff, guys. All right. But wouldn't a lawyer be getting their info from the client? You would think so. Yes, Liam. You would. And when the client's telling you stop lying about the information that you have, that's an issue, right? Right. I don't understand either, Juju. Why is he insisting to say that he is his lawyer? Unless he is conveniently trying to do it to benefit the other case, okay, is the only thing I could see. I just smell shenanigans here. All I know is if I was Ellwanger, I'd be a little bit worried about the status of complaints being filed against me for how I use my license. It just doesn't sound right. There sounds like there's something going on. Of course, Howard King is using this situation to the best of his ability, to his advantage. Okay, and I can't blame him. This is like handing them gold. This is just handing them like a free pass to bring all of this up. And I don't, I actually think that he did the right thing in protecting Brian Warner's interest by filing immediately against squashing the subpoena and having this deposition handled, because it sounds like Ashley has information that she wants to give and she should be able to give it. And they are the ones that subpoenaed her. They can't pull it back now. Okay. They can't say, oh, well, no, because it's been approved by both parties and it's in the works. Okay. It looks really bad if they try. Okay. Well, this isn't just another way to do it, to try to delay it. Okay. I this is it. But I get that. But why did he not fully explain that to his client? I feel like we don't have all the info. You know what, Juju and Liam? I think so too. I think so, that there's another shoe to drop here. I always, when looking at this, I'm going back and forth from one legal document to the other, and I'm looking at all the emails and I'm looking at all of the DMs. And I am definitely thinking that there's more going to come out about this. Okay. Yep. I agree that Howard also is using it to the best of his ability, as he should as a lawyer. He's protecting Brian Warren at this place, and he sees an attorney that is in both cases and using it to delay and to manipulate. It does look like there's some clear manipulation here. And when you have the client saying he's not even representing them, that's a big faux pas. So, King has every right to, rattle the saber on that one. He can definitely use this one to his advantage, and he is. This would be a faux pas on Elwanger's part if it is true, based on the emails that are going forth that have been submitted now in documented into the court file, because in Howard King's motion, he attached them all. Everything that Ashley sent to him, he sent to the court. He's trying to play it fair here. He doesn't want the court to accuse him of meddling where it doesn't belong, or having inappropriate contact with the client, with the other side, with the plaintiff. He's trying very, hard, but here it is. He's giving all these stuff like right into his lap. What's he going to do with it? Well, he's going to give it to the court. And that's what he did. He used it. He filed it to the court, got it all out there, and it will be up to the court to decide where Miss Smithline's coming from this. I would not be surprised if the actual court asked to have a conference with Ashley Smithline in regards to this before they make a motion on the squash. I really would. You hear it from her lips. If they're not going to believe the emails and the DMs, and one attorney saying one thing and one attorney saying that thing, then go to the source. I mean, wouldn't that be a smart thing to do? Just go to the source. I mean, forget about the attorneys. I mean, they're just going to fight with each other no matter what and try to convince me of their side. So why not go to the witness? You want to, and say, hey, you want this deposition to happen? You want it to happen soon? Let's go. Okay, we're scheduled. We're on. No problem. Okay. There you go. That would be simple. And I bet that's pretty much what's going to happen before we see the actual weighing in of the judge in this case. All right. And the judge is actually the judge for both cases, Ashley Smithline and also for Esme Bianco. Now, we have not seen many statements from Esme Bianco right now, but I will let you know that a lot of those DMs were from Esme Bianco. They are between Esme Bianco and Ashley Smithline. And that is what was turned over to Brian Warner's camp. Okay. To his attorney. Okay. Hey, Uncool. How you doing? Nice to see you. Well, on that, questions. This one's a hot mess. Listen, these M's, all three M's were a hot mess today. Like, I thought I was done for a couple of weeks on Manson, but every day, something going to happen. I would not be surprised to see one or the other, if not both of these cases dropping out by the end of the month. It looks like cases are falling apart left and right on here, especially after the depositions that were filed by Howard King also in Brian Warner's case against Evan Rachel Wood. Now, those were bombshell. A lot of the accusations that Evan Rachel Wood made, witnesses, the actual people involved came forward and said she doesn't know what she's talking about. She never even talked to me. Blah, didn't happen. Like, no, Anyway, here we go. All right. I don't know. These names are, wow. These you guys are wow going on. Hey, dirty Uncle Sal, how you doing? Hmm. Good to see you. If these cases fall apart, then can those two women testify in the other cases? I'm not a lawyer, but I have actually asked this question of a lawyer and a paralegal, and what I understand is anyone can testify in the cases. But when you look at the cases and for the reasons that they fall apart, it may not be of benefit to the other case for them to testify. However, could they actually testify for Brian Warner? Yes, they may. Could he call them in as to what happened? That would be up to a judge on whether it's relevant or not. I'm sure that opposing counsel would fight it. Okay. Because, yes, if they can prove that there was some kind of coercion or collusion or working together in some way with all these cases, they could bring the two of them in as witnesses for the prosecution or the plaintiff, rather, because it's a civil case, it's not a criminal case. So it would be the plaintiff, Brian Warner. They would actually subpoena them to come forward to testify as to why their cases were dropped, or actually offer evidence of it, although it has to go through the judge first to find out if it's actually relevant to this case. And I'm sure that defendants attorneys for the attorneys for Evan Rachel Wood and Ilma Grove were going to fight that tooth and nail. They're not going to want anything like that in there in front of a jury. And can you blame them? This looks bad. This looks really, really bad. But yeah, they could testify for either side. For either side, Juju, nothing's going to prevent them. But unless the court decides that those cases have nothing to do with this case, which I can't see how they can, they're all connected in some way. All right. But also, prior offenses and prior incidences don't always get admitted. Okay. Or allowed to be admitted. But it is a civil case. So there is more leniency than there would be in a criminal case. Okay. Hmm. Mhm. Anyway, the triple M's, I know, right? Because right, Mrs. Cassandra, we had Murdaugh, Miller, and Manson. Like it just kind of goes. And all of them shenanigans, all of them shenanigans. Some better than others. But on that, let's see if there's a few more questions, and then we're gonna wrap up. And while I'm looking for questions, let me remind you to do the YouTubey things. Yep, I'm gonna ask you to like, comment, share this video. Help the algorithm as much as you can. Let's get this out. This is good information for people that want about legal. You may know someone who is also interested in true crime or even the weird quirks that I like in the legal drama, and then share the channel with them. Let's see if they'd like to subscribe and get notifications. The only way to get YouTube notifications is to actually be a subscriber of the channel. You've got to push that bell. You've got to push the button to subscribe and ring the bell for YouTube to tell you when we're going to go live. But let's see. Liam asks, the judge is going to be pissed if it looks like they're wasting jury or court time for a strategy. Good point. Good point. And yes, Grace, I do need Masterson. And yes, I've got some stuff on Masterson coming up. But you know me, I like to only stay like an hour 15. So nope, I was not going to go there with Masterson today because Masterson and Scientology are going to have their own show. Might be later in this week. I've got things going on with that I want to talk about. Definitely. Would you guys like a separate show on Masterson, or do you want to wait until Monday? Let me know now in the chat, and I'll take it under consideration. I want to hear from you, all you murder minions. You guys, you guys are into this as much as I am. And so what you say goes. I'll put the work into it this week if you want to see it this week. Otherwise, we're going to go over it on Monday. And hey, Record, nice to see you. Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that hashtag, Robski. Oh, I like that. Robski, you're so good to me. You are. And I do enjoy your comments on the back of the videos. I really do. I like this one. Everybody, share the bear. Pass it around. You got to like, comment, hit that bell so you get the reminders. And there you go. Thank you very much. Yeah. The bear gets shared. Let's not turn it into another show, Mrs. Cassandra, huh? Let's not. Okay, so on that, if you guys don't have anything else, I think I might just wrap it up. And Juju says, I'm good with whatever is best for you. Thank you, Juju. That's very considerate. I'm actually, I'd be ready to go this week. I would. If you want it this week, I'll be ready to go. But Juju, we need to talk. We've got something else we want to work on together, don't we? I'm not going to say what it is or anything like that, but let's get together because it is after Labor Day and we've got something else that we're working on together. Okay. I've got a lot of things I'm working on like right now. September is going to be a lot of different kinds of content that I've been holding back a little bit on until I got the right players involved, but that is it. That's not what I got coming up next is Masterson on Wednesday or Thursday for sure. And also the only thing scheduled solidly right now is what the effery on Saturday night is definitely going to happen. Is definitely going to happen. I may have something Friday night. I'm in talks with a couple of other creators, I'm out for players. Oh, am I, Charlie? Yeah? You want to play? Okay. Listen, if you want to play hopscotch, hit me up. No, 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 no. It's like, no. You guys crack me up. I got to say, hey, SD. Thank you. And I hope you are enjoying the Manson content. I've been doing this since it started. From the beginning. So there is a playlist which is listed in the description. If you want to get into any of the back stuff that I did on it, the separate videos and content on other channels even. But thanks, SD. I'd like to hear from you. If you like the angles that were going on it and how it kind of plays up. I do like to hear from everybody. So on that, I think I'm going to like up. Charlie, thanks for joining us, everybody. It's been great. Yeah. What? Yeah. Liam, I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be good for YouTube, YouTube because like I like green, but because I want to actually donate like all the goodness that you guys give to me. But if you make it yellow, it's just not the same, even though I look good in that color, it kind of goes with me, the fall colors and all. I do look better in green. There you go. So like I'm not saying it. It is what the effery. Like that's it. Like, and it's gonna be on Saturday, definitely for that. We'll also be on the Operator Starsky stream over on the shows on Friday and Uncalled For on Sunday. You can find me there. Okay. It is in my intro. It is all over the place, but not on this show. Not on okay. Let me explain, Liam. That show is going to be yellow no matter what. So it doesn't matter if I say it on that show, in the description, in the promos, all during the show, because that show is never going to get out of yellow based on what I do on that show, which is call all of that stuff out. All of the players, all the people on YouTube and on Twitter and Instagram and all of social media, Facebook, that are doing all that shenanigans and we call it out. It's always going to be yellow. But as far as my other content, I would like to keep it green just for a little while. Okay. So like, let that one stay yellow. Mayhem and effery are yellow forever. I'm never going to argue with YouTube about that. They got damn right to call me out on that stuff, just on my language alone for those two streams. So I don't worry about it. I never even fight it. But on my legal content, I would like more people to see it. I would like more people to actually get some of this legal stuff, see the documents, see the articles that are coming out, look at the different angles, approach it from all different sides instead of just one. A lot of channels go to one side or the other. And I'm trying to do a little in the middle. I do have my opinion, and sometimes it is biased, and I do let you know ahead of time when I'm being a little biased, in fairness. But I do really love the little legal twists, that are going on, the little things that just go, that don't seem right. Like what's going on there? Yep. Unfortunately, Turtle, it's true. It's true. The bear swears a lot. Just ask my mods. Yeah. Yep. And on that, I hope you all have a very good day, and I will see you during the week.